We're on.
Oh, hello and welcome to the Heart of Oneness Network channel. My name is Kay, co-founder of the Heart of Oneness Holistic Expo, and I am joined with fellow co-host Matt Riley, who is also my beloved partner and soulmate. The purpose and intention of this channel is to connect hearts far and wide and to offer up a container of spiritual enlightenment that supports you on your path of self-discovery and awareness. Today, we are so excited to welcome our guest, Brigitta Boyeja, founder of the Lightbridge Center for Transformation in Clinton, New Jersey. Brigitta is a channel and messenger for Saint-Germain and the hierarchy of light, whose transmissions of enlightenment help to transform lives everywhere. The mission and heartbeat of the center is to offer support on your spiritual path of awakening and ascension. Through this process of self-discovery and inner transformation, your true I Am presence will begin to emerge. Brigitta is the host for the Saint-Germain radio show, which has been on Blog Talk Radio for over 9 years. She offers group teachings and facilitates classes while also hosting Ascended Master Retreats in upstate New York. Her services also include celestial readings and healing sessions. Brigitta, it's an honor and a privilege to have you here on the show with us today. We welcome you with our hearts open wide. We know you personally, which makes this interview all that much more special. Matt and I have both had the privilege of connecting with you, not only as a gifted spiritual healer, but a friend and a teacher as well.
Mm-hmm.
We know that you have been a natural healer all of your life. We'd love for you to share with our viewers what life was like growing up in Germany and how did you transition to living in the US in 1994?
Well, first of all, thank you so much for having me on your show and interviewing me. That's very beautiful, and I feel very honored to be here with you. So thank you very much. I know you are truly making a difference in the world. You're changing the world by giving us the opportunity to express ourselves and share what we have to give to the world. So thank you so much for doing that. That's really beautiful. Now, that was a loaded question. How was life in Germany? Well, first of all, we can't underestimate our childhood for all of us because it kind of already directs us a little bit into where we are going to go in life. So when I was a little girl, I already had imaginary friends. And these imaginary friends, later on, I realized were those who walked the path of enlightenment before us, like Saint-Germain, Jesus, Buddha, some of the real famous ones, and who already were in contact with me, communicating to me and guiding me through my childhood. So that was a beautiful way to already be connected and never feeling alone.
Yeah.
And that being said, I'm also very lucky to have had a family that is very open to these things.
Mm-hmm.
My parents were always open to the idea of let live, live and let live. And also to the idea that there's more between heaven and earth than we can see and touch at times.
Mm-hmm.
My mom was very open to spirits, to angels, and it is kind of in my bloodline too, because my grand aunt was a medium. She was able to connect to people that passed over. So it is kind of in my bloodline. And there's the story of my grandfather too, who was in the German military, who was able to use his connection to keep himself safe during the war, but who also later on had this innate ability to just sense things and saved my mom through that when he sensed that a lightning would hit a certain apple tree and just told my mom, let's go inside. And sure enough, 5 minutes later, lightning hits a tree and they were safe. So it's in my family line. And even my dad has the ability and used to have the ability a lot to sense things prior to problems happening. So my family kind of is open to spirit, open to the guidance of spirit, which made it much easier for me to develop my own connection to spirit then.
Wow. Wow,
So
that's incredible.
and then, you know how it goes. I was interested, I was guided. I wanted to know more about tarot cards. I had my first tarot card deck and book when I was 16, and
Oh, wow.
I gave readings to friends for free, and they all loved
Oh
it.
wow.
And
Oh
out
my
of that,
goodness.
developed more and more. So it's just you begin the metaphysical path early, and it just doors keep opening up, and many doors were opened up for me from spirit. Yes.
Right.
And I
Wow.
don't want to hurt the feelings of those of you who live in America, but honestly, Germany 24 years ago, when I came over to America, was so much more open to spirituality. I
Mhm.
remember going into bookstores, and they had products, spiritual products out there, and different things. And then I moved over to America, and there was suddenly nothing. I mean, a
Mhm.
lot has changed in the last 24 years, but still, in the beginning, I was like, oh my God,
Wow.
where am I going to get incense? Kind of thing.
That's wild. That's so
Wow.
beautiful that you had all the support from your family, though. It makes such a difference when you start to have these feelings and these visions, and your family supports you and helps
Yes,
you guide them.
yes, very
Yeah.
much, very
Yeah,
much.
absolutely. I couldn't agree more. So when exactly, Brigitte, if you could share with some of our viewers how and when Saint Germain first came into your life? I know through virtue of knowing you that there have been many initiations, if you will, for you that kind of brought you to those next levels and octaves of your own expansion of consciousness. I'm, I'm curious, and I'm sure our
Mhm.
viewers will be very curious to know what that process was like for you. Like, how did that all kind of come together?
Well, like many of us, life became really difficult. And um, I decided at some point that something needed to change. So I started learning different healing modalities, starting with Usui Reiki, and then I was introduced to Shambhala Reiki. Now, Shambhala Reiki very much is connected to Saint Germain. It uses the affirmations to bring in higher frequencies too. And out of that, I was guided to a small mystery school in Maryland who did the master alignment work, who opened me up to really bringing in the essence of the divine masters. At that time, I really wasn't working yet with Saint Germain. This was, in my eyes, all preparation work. And eventually, I I have to say I was familiar with the masters. That always helped. It wasn't like a strange thing for me to connect with ascended masters like Kusumi or Saint Germain or Moya, because I from a very early age I used our Soma products. I come from England, and they have specific tinctures or pomanders that you use that connect you to the frequency of certain masters and angels. So
Mm-hmm.
I was already in sacred communion with Saint Germain and with El Morya and Kusumi, and I talked to them. So I was very familiar with that. What the work with that small mystery school helped me to do was to deepen my connection. And what that meant was that it guided me to further develop my abilities to talk to them. And then starting off working at a new age shop, it opened me up even further to just be open to what spirit had in store for me. And ironically, what happened there was that the owner became a real good friend of mine, and we worked on each other. And at some point, when I worked on, no, she actually worked on me, I could feel an energy coming in. Now I have to go, I'm sorry, I have to go one step back. In Shambhala Reiki, there was one affirmation in there that really meant a lot to me. So I was taught in Shambhala Reiki to start using affirmations to direct my life. And the one that really honed into my heart song was, I am a perfect channel and instrument of the hierarchy of light. I didn't really know what that meant. I really didn't. I wasn't sure. Does it mean that I'm going to bring through Saint Germain? And honestly, I wouldn't even have thought of bringing through Saint Germain since he's kind of the rock star among the ascended masters. And I was like, no, that's nothing for me. But So I kept saying that every day, and I can't reinforce the importance of really creating affirmations that speak to your heart. I just could feel my heart expanding when I said, I am a perfect channel and instrument of the hierarchy of light. And so a whole path opened up for me. And at this new age shop, a man walked in who channeled Saint-Germain. And it was a cutting edge for us. And we were very excited. And he started what was called the transformation class to a selected 7 people, one of them being me, to teach through him being a channel to let Saint Germain teach this group. So that was the cutting edge for us. That started it already. And then parallel to that, working with my friend, again, I was really opening myself up to becoming a channel and instrument of the hierarchy of light. They heard it, they responded to it. And one time when she worked on me, this energy filled me up and not took me over, but really guided me and spoke to me and said to me, you need to get up and I will now work on your friend. And that was the very first time I remember that I actually channeled the way I channel now, embodied this galactic master and brought it through to my friend. And it was the scariest, most beautiful experience all together because you're so afraid, like, is this real? Is it true?
Right.
You know, is it something safe? Am I going to hurt my friend? So you just keep reinforcing that it's coming from the vibration of love. I know there are so many people out there that are concerned, part of their Catholic upbringing, maybe that channeling is evil, or that you don't know if something evil comes through or doesn't come through. You can feel love. I mean, there's no doubt that you can feel love. And if you feel love, how can it be evil? If you feel judgment and fear and suppression, yes, then I would really worry about what it is you're bringing through. But if you feel the touch of grace, and that's exactly what you feel when you connect with any of these ascended masters, then how can it be evil? How can it be wrong?
Right.
And so out of that, the person who channeled Saint-Germain for the group vanished, handed me over a picture of Saint-Germain and a pendant and said, it is for you now to bring Saint-Germain to the group.
Wow. Wow.
These are the moment in life.
Maybe.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very scary. But I can only say to everybody, these are the moments in your life that define your future.
Yes.
Because you're given an opportunity to say yes or no. That's still your choice. And I said yes. And here I am now.
That is so powerful. Wow. And it's very reminiscent too, a little bit of just the synchronicity and kind of how things worked, how you and I actually came to meet, at an expo that we weren't hosting years ago. And I mistook you for someone else. And through the divine orchestration of that, here we are, all these years later, and all the beautiful healing that you've brought to our lives. So that's just been it's just been absolutely
live.
That's amazing. Exactly. This is live. That is just so amazing. Thank you so much for sharing that. Wow.
And it just shows that everybody's path, everybody sees, I know I see Brigitta, and like I said, I'm honored to be with you here and just to speak to you and know you, and you had a path to get here. So, it's a sequence of events to you get to this point, but people don't know that. And that's so beautiful for you to share. We really appreciate that.
And I think it's very important at this point in time for all of us, where we went through a pandemic and still are going through a pandemic, where timelines have ended and new timelines are beginning, to really do this necessary soul searching within yourself to define a new path, and use affirmations to guide you, to use them as reinforcements, to just check your mind. Where's your mind at? And can I hone back into what is important? What is heart song? What is it that I want to bring into the world out of love and joy?
Yeah. Which actually, Matt, I don't know if you wanted to ask her, the question, but.
Because one of the questions we had was, how have you navigated through the past year spiritually?
Yeah, it's
We've all
perfect.
had our process going through it's been a year now. So what have you done to help navigate through this?
Yourself and
honestly,
others. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've put myself back. I've really honored the message of a pandemic that is forcing you into introversion. And one of the greatest dangers that when something like that happens, that can happen for you, is that you try so much to continue on your old path.
Mm-hmm.
And you're getting very afraid to let go of the past and to be open for the moment that a new beginning can enter. Those are very, very scary times. You're going through a
Mm-hmm.
form of reviewing. I went through a form of reviewing my life. I went through a form of actually saying to the world, I really need this for me.
Mm-hmm.
I know a lot of people continued and switched over to Zoom and taught classes. Honestly, I couldn't. I just had to stop. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm still not fully out of it. So if you're looking for classes right now, I'm not teaching right now. I'm still doing the radio show.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still doing individual sessions, but
Yes.
I'm really not yet sure where my new life
Mm-hmm.
is going to take me. So it's going within, it's meditating, it's coming in touch with my fears, looking at them, transforming them. And so I did a lot of soul searching in this
Mm-hmm.
last year and put myself back and asked myself, what can I let go of before
Mm-hmm.
stepping into my new
Yeah.
phase?
Wow.
Yeah. I think everybody's broken through the same thing. I think K and I both did the same thing. It's,
Yeah.
you took the time and you can use it productively, or you can focus on what's external and get caught up in it, or you can really look internal and really, to your point, see what makes you happy.
Yes.
What direction do you want to go into? Facing your fears. I know for the same time, I'm going through the same stuff. I'm facing fears that I never thought I'd have to realize. And, it's through meditation, like we spoke to the other night, that it really helps you to center yourself and really see truly what you want to be and where you want to go.
And honestly, there were times where all I could do was just get up, read a book, or watch TV, or do nothing but be a human being.
Mhm.
It's not like you can push the process. It's not like I could just turn on, I'm now spiritual and everything's going to be okay. There were times where I was just, the emotional overflow was just too intense for me to handle, and I just put back.
Mhm.
And it's okay.
Yeah.
We also need to understand that it's okay to be human and to
Mhm.
not always be perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah. And to really honor the path and honor you knowing where you need to be.
Mhm.
And even if you don't know, you just know where to be in the present moment.
Yeah.
And that's truly powerful. So, it's interesting, now that we're talking about kind of like the aftershock a little bit of COVID and how that kind of hit everybody, very uniquely. I myself think back to the Ascended Master Retreats that you hold in upstate New York, and what an absolute transformative weekend that becomes for so many people, for people who have attended your retreats over the years. And, we were curious as to what that might look like going forward. If that's something that, you are inspired to continue to do, or if that too might change.
You know, that is really too early to say.
Yeah.
One thing I've observed is that I need to be patient to what opportunities are going to open up for me. I'm not sure if the retreats in that form can continue because of what is happening on a global level. So I need to be open to really observe how the world is going to develop with COVID, with the way, with the way life is going to be approached. If it's going to be more something via internet that's going to be offered, or
Mhm.
if it can be done in person, how can it be done in person?
Mm-hmm.
But I also am very grateful that right now I have this time to close some things in my own life out. So I have to be very honest, I haven't given it that much thought yet. But that being said, I do feel a sense that Saint-Germain is downloading right now a lot of new information into me that is pertaining to the power of the I am and the power of the heart and the power of the heart soul spirit connection. And I'm sure that when the time is right, there's going to be a simple answer to that question. I just can't give it to you right now. Down
Yeah,
the road,
no, that's
right now.
That's perfect. That's perfect. We are thankful for your honesty and transparency. So I guess share with us a little bit more about who Saint Germain is, how people can connect with the violet flame. And then I know we had spoken about you leading us into a meditation perhaps, or channeling with Saint Germain, whatever flows through intuitively. But I know we would love to experience that with you as well.
Certainly. There's not an easy answer to explain Saint Germain because he's so much more than is written about on the internet or books. Saint Germain, in its essence, is a vast consciousness that focuses on the process of transformation through the power of love, bringing opposing forces together and unifying these opposing forces through the essence of the Christ love so that they can merge and alchemically become something new, something else. Contained within it is still the old. And that is a very important message because so many people are terrified of change, thinking that they have the past behind. And yet, everything you've done up to this point is contained within the new.
Wow,
And
beautiful.
And out of this vast consciousness, there have been different aspects incarnated into physical form. And this is really important because sometimes you notice that there are those who walk around and say, I'm an aspect of Saint Germain. And that's true. You know, they bring probably a certain aspect of Saint Germain into physical manifestation. So I would never negate that. But again, Saint Germain is so much more. And I am bringing through the aspect of Saint Germain, who has lived as, Columbus and a lot of other lifetimes, but most prevalent is the lifetime of George Leopold Ragoczy, the son of the Count of Ragoczy in Hungary, who then was sent into exile and became a diplomat in the realm of Europe, France and England, and who lived a long life, lived in Germany, became the one who started the Rosicrucians, and pretended to have died, only to reappear in other places again until at some point he ascended through choice and left his physical body behind. Now, that doesn't mean that he cannot re-experience again, but the way I understand it is that those masters who have ascended often choose not to physically reappear because the frequency that they hold would create too much of a wave, a shift, a change that would affect the global evolutionary process. So what these masters often do is they come through someone. They bring a piece of themselves into someone and work through them to bring healing and wisdom and illumination into the world. So it is for all of us who are willing to open ourselves up to be a channel of Saint Germain that we are allowing their essence to speak to those who are ready to hear their messages. And so I'm bringing through that aspect of Saint Germain, but I know of other incarnations that went parallel to this man that I'm connecting with, who went through the path of ascension, that equally brought the essence of Saint Germain, that wider consciousness through. And that's why I'm always very, very detailed with that aspect, because I feel there's a lot of misconception, and there are a lot of people that want ownership of that Saint Germain, And I don't think with such a vast umbrella monad energy, you can really just take that ownership.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree
Wow.
more. Yeah. Wow. Wow.
That wasn't confusing.
No, it wasn't. It was,
What was that?
I hope it wasn't too confusing, but
No,
I think
no,
the best way to
no.
describe it, yes.
that answers a lot
No.
of questions, because I always wondered that, because to your point, different people channel Saint-Germain, but it's different aspects of that
Yeah.
energy.
And in essence, it's all about transformation. It's all about helping to shift from one consciousness to the next level. And that is why Saint Germain right now is so important at these times where we as a human race are going through a shift in consciousness. We are raising our frequency to move further into more of a oneness consciousness.
Yes.
And that's why there's so much fear coming up, and the fear of sacred union. And we've seen in this country so much the focus on separating yourself through walls and boundaries from other nations. And yet the divine hierarchy of light is saying this is not a time of separation. This is a time of coming together and working together. That is the Aquarian age. In the Aquarian age, we work together as a team. So the idea is for communities to come together and to work together to bring solutions to the table. And that's why your work that you're doing is so incredibly important right now.
Oh, Brigitte, thank you so much for that. Thank you so much for that.
We appreciate that more than you could ever, coming from you. It's something, our work is what we love to do, because we're all heart-based, just like all three of us and Mike and everybody else. It's really, the more people live from their heart, the more they can truly see the glory of this world.
Yes. And I'm glad you brought up Mike. I'm very grateful that I no longer have to walk the path alone. I have a partner in Lightbridge. Mike plays the music. He channels through music. I channel through words. And together we create a powerful team to bring healing and messages of the divine to the world. So yes, I'm very grateful that he's part of this. He is not only the music channeler, but he's also my tech guy and my IT guy. So he's
incredible. Mike is incredible. Yes.
Brigitte must be reading the notes. You must have sent her a copy.
Because that was one of the questions that we had for you guys, was to kind of share with us the story, like how you and the celestial music and presence that Mike brings through. I mean, is everything just comes together so synergistically. It's just incredible. So we were curious as to how the universe orchestrated you two coming together.
Well, Saint-Germain did a lot of work on that in the background, because that little old New Age shop where we all started off at, we all found each other there. It was kind of the gathering spot, because Mike then, later on when I took over the transformation class, he came to the transformation class too, and he joined. And then at some point, the owner, who was my friend, and we said to Mike, come on, we want to hear your music. And so he started to bring his piano to the healing shares that we had, and he kept developing it further. And down the road, we connected, and he said, hey, why don't we try to work together on bringing events out together? And that was the beginning. And then we just started every year. It just became more and more. He got more and more engaged. He started to participate in the retreats, in the Ascended Master retreats. And it just, now we are really working as a team to bring healing and love and spirituality to the world.
It's incredible to kind of see how, the work that you bring through with Saint Germain, and then all the beautiful energy that Mike brings in, and what it's like this beautiful collaboration, and reminds me, so much of just what it's like in the high ethers, when all the energies are just coming together and supporting one another. And no one needs to be told where to go or how it fits. It just all kind of comes together and is just this beautiful, beautiful experience. And that's what it's always been like to be a part of anything that you and Mike put together,
Mhm.
you know, at your center when you were doing that type of thing and at the retreat. And I know, Matt and I, if you let me speak for you, Matt, I'm sure, we both just so look forward to seeing how this just transforms in this next year in 2021. And what beautiful services you'll be offering in this new octave of light.
Thank you. And I just have to say the same the two of you are doing when you're holding the expo and you're walking around just encouraging everybody and you're sharing your love and your light and you're just so calm and just so peaceful. And I know inside of you, you're like, oh my God, I hope everything is working out,
Yes.
But you really you make such a difference, and it's such a gift to be part of your life too. I just want you to know that.
Oh, thank you so much.
Thank you.
It's been an evolution, and it's I look back to even like meeting you and healings, that you performed. I mean, it changed my life. It truly did. It was.
Yeah.
When I look back, when Karen K&A got me up there, and I was like, okay. When I look back on it, it was basically the start of something that transformed to who I am today, and I continue to evolve to. So I truly honored to know you.
Yeah,
Oh,
I don't think either one of us would really be here, I know, without having the space that you hold for us, when we are at our most vulnerable. And I think to all of our viewers and those of you who are tuning in, the biggest gift I feel from having experienced working with Brigitta is the ability for her to hold such space for you when you are at your most vulnerable. Because the human mind tells us when we're in that state of fear that we cannot trust. We don't even trust what we're feeling, let alone allowing ourselves to surrender to another and say, here I am, bare naked. And by far, bare none. She holds space like no one else I know. So we thank you. I thank you. Yeah, truly amazing. But with that said, we would
You
love
want me
for
to
you.
bring you want me to bring the one who really holds the space.
Yes, we
Okay,
would.
so
We
I will
would.
close my eyes for that and just give me a minute to connect, and then
Yes.
he will just come through and he will do his little piece. So and
Yes.
again, I don't know what that's going to be, so we'll see what happens.
No expectations. Mhm.
Greetings. I am Saint-Germain, and it is with so much love that I speak to all of you at this time of tremendous transformation. Keep your heart strong. Focus on the light within. No matter what is happening around you, your inner light is much stronger. It is an illusion that might make you feel or think that the darkness is stronger and might overwhelm you. That is an untruth. Focus on your divine essence. Regardless of your religion, there's something much greater that you're part of. Some call it God, some call it Allah. But what I want you to focus on is simply your divine I am. Your divine I am can help you so much in the days ahead. If you call on it, if you call on your divine I am to fill you up and to work with you and through you at all times, you're not alone. And you're certainly not as alone as you might think. It is through the separation, it is through the duality that you learn everything there is about all oneness. Open your heart, take a couple of deep breaths, and be willing to step into the unknown. Yes, you might be blindfolded. Yes, you might not know where this path is taking you. But rest assured, If you allow your divine I am to guide and direct you, this path shall lead you to love, peace, joy, and true liberation. It shall lead you to that what you came here to do on earth at this time. Have trust and faith, and know that all of us, the members of the hierarchy of light, are here to support you on your path of enlightenment. Blessings to you. I am Saint-Germain, and I will be forever your servant, guiding you along your path of transformation. And it is so. Namaste.
Wow.
There you go. A taste of Saint-Germain.
Wow.
We thank you so much, Brigitta, for your time today, for your wisdom, for your guidance, for your love. We can't thank you enough for saying yes and for supporting us all of these years.
Always. It's been great. Thank you. I really enjoyed this.
Good. And for those of you who wish to connect with Brigitta for her services and the offerings that she is offering right now, you can visit her website at lightbridge101.com. And until next time, from our hearts to yours, much love.
Peace out, everybody. Love you.
Love you.